Overflows.
What constitutes the seed? Sex is natural and spontaneous existential bioenergy. This energy is biological in nature because it creates another human body. Also, it comes into human body at birth and continues lifelong. Sex is your life because through it, life assumes form. Ego is just your mind, your head. You are born through sex, and sex has roots all over you. Ego has roots only in your ideas. Ego is very superficial. It is just cerebral. Wisdom or consciousness is ultimate, the only friend, the only brother, the only wealth, and only happiness or bliss in existence. Wisdom comes when the seed of awakening decomposes and its process of growth begins. Wisdom comes only when the seed of awakening decomposes and its process of growth begins. Remember, for Tantra, doing is knowing. Indeed, there is no other knowing. Unless you do something, unless you change, unless you have a different perspective to look with, unless you move in an altogether different direction than the intellect, there is no answer, no other way to know. What constitutes the seed? Devi asks. Naturally, out of this basic questions, so many other questions also emerge. If there is a single seed, is there a single seed? Does each life comes out of a different seed? Devi asks Shiva the basic question, what constitutes the seed? No awakened one will answer this question philosophically. For the answer, a certain milieu is needed between the seeker and the master. All seeking has to end first. Then the seeker becomes a disciple and finally a devotee. Trust and surrender has happened. Love is its fragrance. This is the state of being. Devi is not only concert, instead devotee, and is in deep love with Shiva as her master. It is a great benediction when the husband or spouse is your master as well. But this is rare. At such moment, both are in deep communion. In deep love, words are meaningless. The communion is through silent gestures. Such is the state of Devi. Less is said, or almost nothing is said, but everything is understood. This is the moment when deeper secrets are transferred and revealed. The process is like osmosis. When communion is through silent gestures, less is spoken or almost nothing, and much is understood and transferred. Such is the state of Devi. This is the moment when deeper secrets are transferred. The process is like osmosis. To explain what constitutes this seed, let me begin this way. Seed is nothing but existential bioenergy. When this seed of existential bioenergy decomposes, tremendous energy is released. With this fusion, process of transformation begins. With this fusion, process of transformation begins. The energy that is thus released through fusion has two aspects. Gross form, known as sperms, it contains spermatozoa, the gross aspect of the seed. This unites with the egg or ovum to create a new life. The movement of sperms is downwards. The other aspect is subtle or psychic form. It is known as ojas. In this form, the existential bioenergy or sexual energy moves upwards. During sexual interaction, both process happens. Gross aspect moves downward. This psychic form of this energy moves upward, and this can be altered. Awakened ones can do this. In doing so, the quality of the seed is changed. This is how higher souls are brought into life. Life, love and light and eternal evolution is existential process. Know this as higher dimension. Energy, frequency and vibration is not philosophy. Instead, it is the language of the existence. Let me explain this scientifically through atomic fusion and fission. There are two things, fusion and fission. Both are equally important to understand. Fusion is reactions are being studied by the scientists, but difficult to sustain for a long period of time because of tremendous amount of pressure and temperature needed to join the nuclei together. Nuclear fission, on the other hand, is reaction in which the nucleus of an atom splits into two or more smaller nuclei. Fission occurs when a neutron slams into a larger atom, forcing it to excite and split into two smaller atoms, also known as fission products. Additional neutrons are also released that can initiate a chain reaction. When each atom splits, a tremendous amount of energy is released. The fusion process often produces gamma photons and releases a very large amount of energy, even by energetic standards of radioactive decay. Nuclear fission is used to generate electricity. For the destructive components of nuclear weapons and to break down radioactive elements into other elements. Fusion is a scientific process that occurs when two atoms slam together to form a heavier atom. When two hydrogen atoms fuse together, a heavier helium atom is formed. Something like this happens during the act of sex. One aspect is capable to create another human life, and the other aspect, more important or subtle, gives birth to mother and father. Thus, motherhood and the fatherhood is born. The psychic adaptation of this energy starts the process of transformation of human consciousness. Yogis have coined for energy a new word, existential bioenergy. It is existential at the same time biological in nature. Sex energy is existential and it descends at human level in biological form. This energy can rise upwards, but scientists say when the body of an awakened one, if dissected, the semen cells are in the same place as in an ordinary person. Sex is not seen to be rising at all. It does not travel upwards. It cannot. Science cannot see this. Science is only concerned with gross the matter. Human mind is unable to understand this rising of sex energy. It is also known as rising of the Kundalini energy. It is not a question of semen. However, there is an invisible form of energy which is linked with it. Certainly, it can travel upwards. When someone is engaged in sexual interaction, the semen leaves the body, and along with it, his sexual energy is also released that vanishes into the space. While semen travels on to give birth to a new life, the psychic aspect of energy known as ojas moves upwards. This psychic aspect of bioenergy is known as ojas. It is the spiritual or psychic aspect of existential bioenergy. According to Ayurveda, the science of life, ojas is the subtle essence of all vital fluids responsible for health, vitality, strength, longevity, immunity, emotional well-being, spiritual growth, and transformation. Ojas is a Sanskrit word and it means vigor, and it is best understood as essential energy for the body and mind. It not only gives tissues strength and endurance, but it protects the health and vitality of the cells, thereby influencing all bodily functions and psychological processes, etc. Enough for now.